Okay, girlfriends, we need to have a heart-to-heart because what happens down there after menopause is like the big taboo secret nobody warns you about. Seriously, why does no one talk about this stuff? In parts 1 and 2 of this series, Embarrassing Menopause Problems, we had some very real talks about painful sex, vaginal dryness, and even hair loss in unexpected places, if you know what I mean. But today, we're diving into a topic that so many of you have asked me to talk about. What happens after menopause? I've received so many messages from you guys saying the same thing. Nobody talks about this. Women's sexual and vaginal health after 50, or certainly after 60, I just turned 60 so I know, is treated like it's not important, but it is. So today, we're breaking that silence. I'm going to talk about disappearing vaginas, pelvic organ prolapse, what to do if you don't really have much of a desire for sex anymore, but you want to have that desire. Hormone levels can affect not just pleasure, but also the ability to climax. I mean, I've heard from so many of you saying that you can get about 95% of the way there during sex, but the big finish, just not happening anymore. I'm going to talk about why you're more prone to UTIs after menopause and how to prevent them. I'm also going to touch on vaginal infections caused by vaginal microbiome imbalance. Did you even know your vagina has its own microbiome? It does. Skin changes down there and varicose veins in the vulva. This isn't meant to scare you or gross you out, but it's important for us to talk about this so that you're more prepared for it, if or when you experience these things. We also have to break the stigma. I mean, this is part of life, right? Why does it have to be like some huge mystery or so taboo or secretive? Hey friends, welcome back to Thrive After 45. If you're new here, I'm Rena Hedeman, Certified Health and Life Coach. Today, we're diving into part 3 of my series, What's Happening Down There? Menopause Problems No One Talks About. This time, we're going deeper into the post-menopausal phase and discussing the changes that most people don't even think about until they're living it. Trust me, you're going to want to stick around for this one because I, for one, had no idea this was coming and it hit me like a ton of bricks. Some of the things we're about to talk about today might surprise you and others you might already be dealing with, but nobody's told you how to handle them, right? Let's normalize this conversation and support each other through these changes. But before we dive in, if you're interested in women's health and quite frankly, how to age well, please hit the subscribe button and hit the little bell so you get notified when new videos come out. I mean, your health and well-being is, you can't put a price on it. It's priceless because it determines how you age, how much energy and vitality you have, how you look and feel, and therefore how happy and vibrant you are, right? So go ahead and subscribe so you get the latest insights on how to thrive after 45 and have an ageless body and mind. Okay, so we've talked about vaginal atrophy on this channel before. I really can't stand that term. It just sounds so horrifying and dismissive, doesn't it? Thank God it's now more often referred to as Genitourinary syndrome of menopause, or G.S.M, a more accurate and compassionate term. It's basically the vaginal dryness, sometimes a burning sensation down there, painful intercourse, increased urinary tract infections, the feeling that you suddenly need to pee urgently. Has that happened to you yet? And even incontinence. Okay, if you want to hear a truly embarrassing story, you've got to watch What's Happening Down There, Menopause Problems No One Talks About, Part 1. I tell a story about what happened to me while on vacation in Paris a few years ago. It's about 4 minutes into the video. You've got to check it out so you know that, yes, this is very real. It happened to me, and it can happen to you. So based on that awful experience, I felt I should share what I now know you definitely should bring with you every time you travel anywhere, if you're in perimenopause, menopause, or postmenopause. You know, 15% of women start experiencing genitourinary syndrome of menopause during perimenopause, when estrogen production begins to drop. Some women deal with these symptoms for years before their menstrual cycle officially stops, while others have just no issues at all. Lucky them. By 3 years after menopause, basically 50% of women report symptoms of this. I bet the real number is actually higher than that because let's face it, no one wants to admit incontinence. And let me tell you, suffering from this is not necessary. There are plenty of treatments or options out there. But if you don't know what could be coming down the pike, you're not going to know what to ask for when it happens. You want to be ready. So there's vaginal estrogen or intravaginal DHEA can work wonders to restore elasticity and prevent further shrinkage. Vaginal estrogen in particular is considered the gold standard for treating G.S.M. That's what I use. It comes in various forms like creams, rings, and tablets, so you can find what works best for you. And it's safe, effective, and doesn't come with the risks associated with systemic hormone therapy, aka HRT or HT. Other things like regular sexual activity, vaginal dilators, or pelvic floor exercises can really help too. I talk about all of that stuff in more detail in these videos if you want to know more. On a related topic, many of you have shared in the comments that it seems like your vagina is outright disappearing. And no, you're not imagining things. This happens because the vulva, the external part of the vagina, and the vagina itself, the internal part, often gets smaller after menopause due to a decline in estrogen levels. The labia minora, the smaller inner lips of the vulva, can also decrease in size, which can add to that feeling that things are sort of, well, shrinking or disappearing. But don't worry, it's really not that big of a deal, unless of course it makes your day-to-day life uncomfortable for you. I mean, some women say that sitting in a certain position or even wearing certain clothes are sometimes uncomfortable now. I mean, quite honestly, that hasn't happened to me yet, so I can't speak from experience. Okay, now let's talk about pelvic organ prolapse. Sounds terrifying, right? But don't panic. Prolapse is when one or more pelvic organs, like the bladder, uterus, or rectum, start to sag or press into the vaginal wall. It happens because the muscles and ligaments supporting those organs weaken over time, especially after menopause. Now, I cannot tell you about this from experience. This has not happened to me yet anyway. But here's what I've learned in asking menopause-trained doctors about it. Pelvic organ prolapse is actually more common than you might think. Around 50% of women who've given birth vaginally, yep, that's me, will experience some degree of pelvic organ prolapse in their lifetime. And by the age of 80, about 10 to 20% of us will have undergone surgery for prolapse or related conditions like urinary incontinence. I actually have a friend who had surgery for incontinence in her mid-50s. That's a whole nother conversation for another video because there are many risks involved in that surgery, so it's become pretty controversial. But anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, pelvic organ prolapse. If you've ever felt a heavy, dragging sensation down there, or even noticed a bulge in your vaginal opening, prolapse can be mild or severe. And the good news is there are treatments, from pelvic floor therapy, which I have had for urgency incontinence and stress incontinence, and I talk about that in that video too, to surgical options, like I said. The key is not ignoring it. If you're experiencing symptoms, talk to your doctor as soon as possible. I mean, knowing how common this is might take away some of the stigma for you, hopefully, and you deserve to get the support you really need. Okay, let's talk about libido. I mean, it's time to get real. Some women find that their interest in sex takes a nosedive post-menopause, while others feel an increase. It's all normal. But what's less discussed is how changes in blood flow, nerve sensitivity, and even hormone levels can affect not just pleasure, but also the ability to climax. I mean, I've heard from so many of you saying that you can get about 95% of the way there during sex, but the big finish? Just not happening anymore, or at least sometimes. And let me tell you, this is a common experience, and it's not your fault or your partner's either. I mean, after menopause, the decline in estrogen and testosterone can impact the nerves and blood vessels that are essential for achieving orgasm. Plus, thinner vaginal tissues and reduced lubrication can make it hard to stay fully engaged, if you know what I mean. So here's what can help. First, Don't underestimate the power of foreplay and exploring new ways to even stimulate yourself. Try different techniques, tools, or positions that focus on areas with more sensitivity. Vaginal estrogen or intravaginal DHEA can also improve the health of the tissues and increase blood flow, which might make a huge difference. And of course, communication with your partner is critical. Let them know what's going on. Let them know what feels good and what doesn't. If this is a big issue for you, don't hesitate to talk to a specialist. Sexual health is such an important part of our overall well-being, and there are experts out there who can help you figure out what's going on and how to get that 95% to 100% again. Because let's face it, ladies, we deserve the whole experience, right? All right, let's revisit something I touched on in parts 1 and 2. If you've been with me through these series, you already know that decreased estrogen during menopause and postmenopause thins the urethra and bladder lining, making it easier for bacteria to cause infections. On top of that, the drop in lactobacilli, the good bacteria, disrupts the balance in our urinary tract. But let's dig a little deeper into the long-term effects of recurrent UTIs and how to prevent them more effectively. Repeated infections can weaken the bladder and even lead to chronic kidney problems over time. That's why prevention's really important. So what can you do to protect yourself? First, stay vigilant about hydration. Flushing out bacteria regularly is the first line of defense. Second, explore cranberry supplements, which some studies suggest can prevent bacteria from adhering to the bladder walls. If cranberry isn't your thing, look into D-mannose, a natural sugar that works similarly. And here's a lesser-known tip. Some probiotics specifically target urinary health. They can help restore a healthy balance of bacteria in the urinary tract. If you tend to get UTIs often, consider asking your doctor about specialized vaginal estrogen treatments, which can help strengthen the urinary tissues over time. Remember, it's all about finding what works best for you and your body. Okay, I've talked a little about the microbiome before, but did you know that post-menopause, shifts in pH levels can lead to a domino effect of issues? With a lot less estrogen now, the vagina becomes less acidic, creating the perfect environment, unfortunately, for infections like bacterial vaginosis or yeast infections. So to give your vaginal microbiome a boost, try some probiotics made specifically for women's health. And quick tip, eating foods rich in prebiotics like garlic and asparagus can also help nourish those good bacteria. Oh, and please, ditch any scented soaps or douches. Those can throw your balance off even more. Oh, and here's another fun fact. Just like the skin on your face changes with age, the skin on your vulva does too. I hate to say it. It can become thinner, more sensitive, and prone to irritation. Some women even experience discoloration or, tiny tears that take forever to heal. So a gentle, fragrance-free moisturizer, just like one you might use on your face, can work wonders. Oh, and don't forget SPF if you're spending time in the sun in a swimsuit. Yep, it goes right through it. And yeah, vulvar sunburns are a thing. You're welcome for that mental image. And another thing, varicose veins are not just for legs. Vulvar varicosities, yes, varicose veins in the vulva can develop post-menopause. These can cause swelling, aching, and even discomfort during certain activities like sitting or exercising. Compression garments, elevation, and gentle massage can help manage symptoms. But if they're severe, there are medical treatments you can get. Again, you gotta talk to your doctor if this is something you're dealing with. Whoa, we've covered a lot today, haven't we? From vaginal stenosis and pelvic organ prolapse to microbiome shifts, increased UTIs, and vulvar skin changes. Let's face it, postmenopause can be challenging. But here's the thing, knowledge is power. The more we know about what's happening to our bodies, the better equipped we are to handle it, right? So I hope today's video is helpful. Please give it a thumbs up if it was and share in the comments what you have been dealing with. Have you experienced any of these postmenopausal changes? What's helped you the most? Your words matter. They might just help another woman feel less alone, so please share. And don't forget, if you missed parts 1 and 2 of this series, they're packed with valuable insights and practical tips. I'll link them right here. Let's keep this conversation going and lift each other up. As always, thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next time. Love you guys.